I'm Craig Kenneth, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist. Every relationship is different and every breakup is different. Work with me and you'll get professional help on your situation. And if you're in no contact, focused on personal growth, my workbook series, The Knowledge, will help you make changes like you've never made before. Available now at AskCraig.net. Hi there, I'm Coach Craig Kenneth, and in this video I'm going to be talking to you about my ex left me at my lowest point. Now, if somebody leaves you when you're going through a difficult time, it really hurts because, you know, whatever's going on in your life that you're struggling with, maybe you lost your job or your mental health is poor, and that person leaves you, it can feel like a betrayal, like they've abandoned you, and part of you questions how much they loved you, and, you know, if they came back, could you trust them again? And of course, that's a case-by-case basis, because it's depending upon why that person left, right? Like sometimes somebody's mental health is not good, and the person tries to help you a bit, but eventually they're like, I can't keep doing this. You know, maybe they don't have the skills or the emotional availability to do it, and so they walk away. Now, it's up to you on whether you can trust that person to repair things and take them back, right? Because there's so many different reasons that somebody could leave you at your lowest level, right? And at some point, like, I mean, you got to really think about how much is somebody really obligated to stay through difficult times. I guess it depends upon what those difficult times are, how maybe motivated or unmotivated you were to change or to grow or to improve the situation, how long they had been patient with you. You know, there's a lot of different factors. So just because somebody leaves you at a difficult point doesn't mean you should necessarily close the door to it in the future, you know, like a black and white kind of situation. There's a lot of different reasons, like I said, that could lead someone to feel like they have to leave a situation. So today I've got an email coaching where somebody felt like they were left at their lowest point. But make sure you stick around and watch to the end of this, because I'm going to reveal something really interesting at the end of this one, okay? So stick around and watch this one all the way through, and don't spoil it for people in the comment section. Let people watch the story and then see what happens at the end, okay? So, this woman is in her mid-40s, okay? And she lives in Europe. She was living with a guy, let's say 5 years older, roughly, after about 11 months in Europe as well, okay? She said, we are both in the same field and met in March of 2021. The beginning was great. Eventually, I started practically living in his apartment. My family lives in another country, and I have no family in that country we were living in. My family was concerned that I did that without a formal commitment, I guess meaning getting engaged and living with this guy. Later, I had my graduation exam coming up. It was stressful because I'm very ambitious. My mental health deteriorated. I told him I had a few episodes of self-harm, and these started increasing. All right, so that's some pretty serious stuff there when people are hurting themselves, maybe cutting themselves or doing other things to hurt themselves, and that person really is in dire need for mental health treatment, okay? Now, you could see why somebody in this position might try and give you some support and help there, but they might also say, like, you're not ready for a relationship right now. You got to get yourself straightened out and hopefully handle it in a kind and supportive way, okay? He wanted me to seek therapy. I was scared to do that because of my limited understanding of the language in the country we're living in. and I didn't realize how sick I was. Well, when you're cutting yourself, that's really serious stuff. Sometimes he said he was scared that I would leave him for a better job or a better guy because I'm so talented. So he's a bit insecure. He's got some insecurities there that she would leave him for somebody else or another job. We did have moments that were very beautiful. He always told me he loved me. I spent Christmas with his whole family. He also flew to meet my family out of the country. Note that he knew how important this is in my culture. This March had a rough start. We fought over small things. I had problems at work. Then, in the middle of March, my grandfather passed away. And losing somebody that you're really attached to is very difficult. And it makes a lot of people struggle with depression and guilt and a lot of different emotions. And it can be really overwhelming. I was so heartbroken. I hadn't seen him in years and I couldn't go to the funeral. Okay, so there we would have some guilt, right? Grandpa died. She feels bad about it. She hadn't seen him in years, and now she can't even go to the funeral. 3 days later, in an emotional fight, I said, after graduating, I stayed in this city partly to give us a chance. He said, you shouldn't have, but I'm madly in love with you. Okay, now they had a fight 3 days after Grandpa died. What does that tell me? She was kind of needing a release, right? She was tense, she was stressed, she was upset, and so she probably unconsciously caused that fight. The next evening, he texted he wanted to be alone with his friends. I broke down texting, I want to die. I'm sorry, I can't deal with this loneliness. He called emergency services. I spoke to them over the phone until my suicidal moment passed. So that would really scare somebody. You know, I could see why he would be stressed out about that. A lot of people would have the viewpoint of, look, you got to get help. You're not ready for a relationship right now. You need to make that your priority. And they really mean it. Whether you agree with that or not, that's a different story, but I'm just telling you a lot of people would feel like that's the right thing to do. I tried to call him, but he blocked me. He had gone to see a movie with his friends. Later that night, he said, I am giving up on you. Ouch. That's rough. I told him I'm very sorry, but this is difficult and I broke down. I will see a doctor immediately. Well, good for her for getting help because things were really serious there. She was talking about hurting herself and obviously saying worse than that. But he wanted to protect himself. I was very shocked. He ghosted me after that. In the 2 months that followed, I took the support of my friends and family, therapy, podcasts, etc. to build myself. I found out that the severe anemia had impacted my mental health. I followed no contact. I got much better. In May, my colleagues told me he was having panic attacks when he saw me. You see that? She left him alone. She went no contact, focused on her healing, personal growth, and look at that. He was having panic attacks seeing her. He tried to call my mom and text me on WhatsApp, but didn't send anything. He then went into therapy. 2 days ago, I bumped into him downstairs. He said, I'm happy to see you smile after so long, but not much else. My question is, how do I get over the trauma of him abandoning me at such a low point in my life? Okay, well, that's completely understandable. You have to understand that not everybody is equipped to to handle those kind of serious mental health issues. And quite honestly, a lot of people will have the mindset of, you got to get better first. You need to get healthier first. You know, this couple is relatively young. They don't have kids. They're not married. You know, had they been married or have kids, he may have been more inclined to say, let's keep working at this. But is it wrong to necessarily say you shouldn't be in a relationship right now? You know, you really need to get yourself in a good place? You know, that's a case-by-case situation. But I could see why somebody would say that, you know? Now, I do think he could have handled it kinder to her. I do think he could have been more empathetic and understanding about what she was going through. I don't think he needed to ghost her. I think he could have done it in a way that was a little bit more supportive and caring and thoughtful throughout the process. But I don't necessarily disagree that it was wrong for him to end a relationship where somebody is struggling with their mental health that poorly. So I think that if you're upset about the way he did it, I could understand. I think there's some validity there, that the way he went about things with you was maybe a little bit short or maybe hurtful. But because he ended it because of your mental health, I agree that many people would have left that situation. Especially because it's not like you're married and have kids together, or you've been together for a really long time, where he maybe should have made more effort to really be there for you. You guys are really young, and, you know, he might not have been emotionally mature and ready for something like that. Now, he did say he was going to get into therapy, and you are going to get into therapy, so that is great. And actually, what I should say, and here's the little twist to this story, is that this email coaching was sent to me about a year ago. And the reason that I'm doing it today is because she sent me a success story. And so the next video that I release will be called "We Slowly Got Back Together." And it is a follow-up from this very email. So when I got the success story, I thought, you know what? Let me go back and review her email coaching with me. And then I thought, how can I do this? Because I thought initially maybe I'll put the two videos together. But I thought it would be interesting for you guys to hear the scenario play out live and then see what happens 1 year later. So make sure you check out the follow-up to this one called "We Slowly Got Back Together." And that'll be coming out very soon. Now, if you want to get my help personally, of course you can get that on my website, AskCraig.net. I do email coaching and I do Skype. You can get my workbooks or my creative healing course on the website. They will help you a lot and they'll help really change your life. But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth, and I will talk with you soon.